talking about identifying target clients, who do we want to bring on as customers? So I think a lot of people view this the wrong way and they don't follow the money as much as they should. So what I mean by this is you need to think about companies that already have really great profit margins, and these are going to be great places to start for building a company. For example, if you look at, the restaurant down the street from where you live. So the problem with food businesses, for example, is that they have really low profit margins. Now, this is generally speaking, of course, there's restaurants that make a lot of money, but a lot of food businesses, they have tight profit margins. They might only be making, 5 or 10% margins from their food business. And so if you go and pitch them $2,000 a month for marketing, they're going to say, well, in a lot of cases, they might not even be making $2,000 a month in profit. So it's going to be difficult for them to pay you a very high amounts of money for those services. And that's why we never really targeted restaurants or food businesses. And I'm not saying that you can't make money in that. Like I have friends who have agencies that focus on restaurants and they make good money, but just the way that I think of it, I would focus more on people who are already making good money or can at least afford higher ticket services where you can charge them $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month or more for your services, and they have the budget for it. Okay, so let's talk about some potential different clients for your agency. So one of the ones that I think everyone is going to think of right away is going to be doctors, lawyers, dentists. Now, these can be very profitable. I would say the issue with these is that, a lot of people have already run services for them. And so they probably already have someone who does marketing for them. So you're going to have to basically compete with someone who's already doing marketing, but they do tend to have much higher budgets. A lawyer who might be making $100,000 a month from their practice isn't really going to, shy away from spending $2,000 a month on marketing if it's going to bring them a lot of new customers, because those customers are high value. Okay. So doctors, lawyers, dentists, those are some really great ones, but I want you to start thinking outside the box a bit for potential customers. So one that we actually got into recently, actually now more like 2021, was larger corporations, because they just have much larger budgets. And so I shouldn't name names on the exact corporations, but we've done marketing for very large corporations where the contract size can be $20,000 or $30,000 a month. And to them, if it's like, a $10 billion company, them spending $30,000 a month to hire us to run marketing for them or help in specific fields on their marketing team, it's not really much of a big issue for them, because that's like a drop in the bucket. $30,000 a month, they're making $1 billion a year. What's that to them? And so corporations, this one is a bit harder to get into. I would not recommend this right off the bat. It's just something that we kind of have graduated to, years and years after, running marketing campaigns. But start thinking more outside the box as well. Things like political candidates. So every election season, right, which is basically elections every single year, there's a lot of money that's being spent on advertising. So you can find ways to get into this and run ads for political campaigns or for even things like super PACs. They're out there hiring people to run ads, and you can be an expert in that field specifically on political campaigns. Maybe someone's running for Congress in your local district, reach out to them and see if you can help them on social media or help them to run their campaign. And this is one that not enough people reach out to on, and they're always looking for marketing experts in this field. On top of that, look, a lot of people are running e-commerce businesses. There are millions of people who have Shopify stores who are selling products online. Helping them to run ads or helping them with any other area of their business is going to be very useful, because there's a lot of those potential customers out there, people who are already running e-commerce businesses. And then probably my favorite one that I really think you should consider doing is look at a list of startups that recently announced that they raised money for their startups. You can use something like Crunchbase or PitchBook to look at all the different companies. And there are companies every day that it's hitting the news that, some company just raised a ton of money for their startup. They just raised $40 million for their Series A or their Series B funding round. And what this means to you, what this should mean, is that this company is now flush with cash. They raised a bunch of money and they're ready to spend it. And they might need some marketing people to help spend that money to grow the company. So that is one of the best ways, one of the best hacks for getting new customers, is to just look at the list of recent fundraising rounds and reach out to them with cold email. And you can do that all day. And, you're going to get some really great customers from that. Now, this all, of course, does depend, your target customer is going to depend on the category of marketing that you chose that we talked about earlier in this video. But those are just some different potential target clients that you can go for. Another thing to remember here is that it is helpful as well to focus on one type of client so that you can really niche down and become an expert in that field. Like, for example, if you focus specifically on marketing for lawyers and then you try to go out and run marketing for an ice cream shop, it's going to be a little bit of a different game. And so I think it's always better to stick with one specific type of client and then just find a bunch of those so that you can basically rinse and repeat and copy what has worked for those previous lawyers that you have done marketing for, and then use that to pitch it to the new lawyers that you might be trying to sign on as clients.